I've been testing this budget-friendly smoker for months, and the results might surprise you. Today we're reviewing the Giantex 3-in-1 smoker. Now let's see if this budget smoker actually works. First thing I'm going to do is take it apart really quick so you can see the different pieces. Now there's an assembly video that you can find right there. First we have the lid, which has the vent and a thermometer. And then the middle section contains one grill grate that comes in and out. Bottom section has a grill grate and an additional pan. They call this the drip pan, but it's identical to the charcoal pan, which can come in handy. Then on the bottom, we have the charcoal pan and we have a grate to keep the charcoal off the bottom, which is really nice. And then we have the bottom section, and the bottom section here has the 3 feet, and the feet actually double as the holder for these to sit on. You can just set them down here, really nice. It's easy, and then it clips in place. And I'll go ahead and open the doors here so that way you can see what I'm doing as I do it. And let's put this back together really quick. And finally, we have these doors here. And these doors just simply close by turning the handles a little bit. If you keep the doors flat, and then you push them like so, then when you go to close them, you can get a really decent seal. It's not perfect, but it's good. Now, some of the key points of this smoker is that you have almost 400 square inches of cooking space among those 2 grates. The smoker itself is extremely light at only 13 pounds. And everywhere I've looked, this smoker is always under $100. I purchased this one for a lot less than that. It was on sale at the time, and I'm sure you'll be able to find it on sale also. Now, as far as putting it together, again, I did a full video on that, and really, it took me about 30 minutes. Had I not been doing the video, it might have taken me 15 minutes. And if you're experienced, it might take you that amount of time also. So let's go ahead and talk about what this does good. So the best thing about this thing is because it's lightweight, it's really portable. Easily, you can take it apart, throw it in a box, or just toss it in the back of your pickup or camper and take it with you. As far as smoker performance, for things that take a short amount of time, it performs really well. You can see here that I did cheese, and I've done ribs, and I've done wings, and all of these things turned out great. Now for cook time, the most effective amount of time is about 4 hours. You can get a little bit longer out of it, but really what I like to do to manage the cook temperature is use a charcoal snake method or a clock method, also I tend to call it. So basically you're laying out your charcoal in a ring and then lighting one end of that ring and making sure that you block it off, and then it will burn around in a circle. Put too much charcoal in it, it gets too hot. Don't put enough charcoal in it, it's not hot enough. If it's not hot enough, you can always add a block of wood to get a temperature spike to help you out, which you can do throughout the process with a pair of tongs right through that door. As far as versatility goes for this thing, it works great. Not only can you smoke a lot of different foods, but you can also use it as a grill. I've grilled steak and chicken on this, and it worked out perfectly. Now, another thing, the third thing, which I really haven't done, is you can also use it as a fire pit or like a small campfire if you're in an area where you need to keep your fire contained. Simply remove the parts and just use the bottom part and the fire bowl and put a small amount of firewood in there, and you'll have a nice little fire and even good for roasting marshmallows. Now, my final point that I really like is how easy it was to assemble. Again, like I mentioned earlier, it only took me 30 minutes with the video running. So of course there was a little bit of shuffling around, but I easily could have done it in less than 15 minutes had I just been running through it. The directions are just simple picture directions. So if you're good at putting together furniture from that big store from Sweden, you'll be fine putting together this. As far as things that I didn't really care for, the thermometer is my first thing that kind of bothered me a little bit. If you really need a thermometer in the lid, I would recommend that you buy an aftermarket thermometer and drill another hole in the lid right here and insert it there, so that way you can get something a little more accurate and also something that you can calibrate. This one I have not found a way to calibrate. That doesn't mean that there isn't. Might have to pull it apart and take chances of breaking it, but I didn't want to do that until after I had gotten this video done. Next, the size of it in general is a little small, and I felt like the maximum amount of people that you could accommodate is 4 people, unless you're doing something like a roast. And again, a roast, a pork butt, or something like that is going to take more time, which brings me to the next problem, is that really much more than 4 hours, it's going to be hard to get a consistent temperature. But the cheat for that is to light the second bowl and swap them out real quickly. Remember, don't take the lid off. Spin this, take the whole top off to retain as much heat as possible. Put the preheated lit bowl in there using your hot gloves, and then put it all back together as fast as possible, and you should be able to continue your cooking very smoothly, which could give you maybe up to 8 hours, or maybe even a little more if you're careful. Another thing to keep in mind is that once you set that bowl aside and let it cool off, you can reload it and perform the same process again a second time. This would not be a smoker, however, that you can run overnight. Finally, one of the benefits is that it's lightweight, but that can also be a negative because the material is very thin and it does tend to be very susceptible to outdoor weather conditions. So if it's really cold, you're actually going to need to burn a little bit more fuel. When I first got this and started doing the testing, it was very cold out. Towards the end of my testing, the weather improved and I didn't have as much problem with that. So if you're using it during the summer or even spring and fall, you should have no problem. If you're in a cold climate and you're using it during the winter, you might either want to add a thermal blanket to it or just count on using a little bit of extra charcoal. Now we're going to run a couple of video clips here while I talk, and the first one is wings. Now I found that this smoker is great for wings as long as you get that temperature up above 300 degrees. And when I do wings, I like to use a little baking powder to dry out that skin and keep that temperature up, and it gets nice and crispy. Ribs, which was one of my first cooks, is a staple in just about any smoker, and with 4 hours, you can really do a good job at ribs. I say that 5 hours is the max temperature that you need to produce amazing ribs, and that's if you use a 2-2-1 method. I do like the unwrap method more. Gets a little bit drier and more, shall we say, firm rib, but the flavoring is definitely better, and you don't get mushy meat, which you can get if you do any wrapping process. Now, of course, with every smoker, I usually start with a seasoning process, and that is the perfect time to smoke some cheese. And this smoker performed excellently for that. One of the nice things is that you can even remove the charcoal bowl and set the pellet tray directly on the ground. So that way you can get rid of any possible heat. You do want to keep it relatively close so most of the smoke goes up through the chamber here. And if you do that, you also want to overload the pellet tray and give it a little extra time and not go under. Otherwise, you won't get that smoky goodness that you're looking for in your cheese. Now, as far as the temperature management, it does have the vent on the top. And I have to admit that that really didn't help a lot. And the one reason is when you have one of these smokers that has a bowl configuration, similar to the Masterbuilt that I had before in the videos, that it'll take in as much air as the fire wants. And so as it's taking in that air, the charcoal will just keep burning and burning. That's why using a method like the charcoal snake is essential to controlling your temperature. Now, for most 225s, a 4-stack, which is 2 rows across the bottom and 2 rows on the top, will work out great. Check out some of my other videos on the charcoal snake, and here's an example. I think it's in the Weber Smoky Mountain, but you can check it out on that link. Why should you buy this smoker? Well, I got a couple of reasons why. This smoker is very beginner friendly and perfect for you to learn on. Now, as far as the size, it is great for camping or tailgating or anything you need to do where you need to have a smoker that can be portable. Also, if you have a small household, if it's just 2 people and you don't cook a lot of long cooks, like let's say you like pork chops or ribs or anything where a short cook will work great, this is going to be great for a small household. And finally, if you're a beginner and you're just not sure if you want to invest a lot of money in a smoker, well, this is absolutely going to be budget friendly for you. Now, reasons you might want to skip this smoker: if you're feeding a large crowd, this smoker just doesn't have the capacity for you. I prefer to only use the top shelf, even though there is the 2 shelves, and you could do that. If you do it, you want to flip the food in the middle. If you want to cook overnight and have a long extended cook, this smoker is not going to be a good one for you. You will literally have to get up every, say, 3 or 4 hours to check it and make sure that you haven't expended all your charcoal. And finally, if you need professional results, this is not going to be the smoker for you. I would recommend, if you're looking for this style of smoker, that you look at one of the Weber Smoky Mountain videos right here, because that one is the pork butt king. So my final verdict is, for under $100, this smoker delivers real barbecue flavors. And despite its limitations, the price makes that very forgivable. If you're curious about smoking, this is a great place to start, and you can get some of these kind of results. Now, if this smoker interests you, you'll find my affiliate links below. I will get a commission on that. Also, there is the manufacturer's website link, and if you use that, that's fine too. You will be able to get shipped anywhere with that one, where this is not in every warehouse, so you might have to pick and choose which way you go. Now, if you want to learn more about this smoker, I have a full playlist, and you can find that in my YouTube page. And also, I have a catalog of a lot of other smokers playlists where you can dial in whatever you're doing to whatever smoker that you have or something similar to it. I've finished up with my first section with this, and next I'm considering doing a few modifications. But if you have something you'd like to see me smoke, put it in the comments below. And like always, thanks for watching. Have a great day.